It's Tuesday, March the 7th. Internet free for all. Worries of repetitive strain injury. Horror as Man United fly low. Ken goes back on pledge. The Tash is coming back. Please welcome the man who always goes it alone, Mr. Ian Lee.
That's just cheeky. Hello. That's just plain cheeky. What can you do? I salute you, hello, and welcome to the 11 o'clock show. Come on, you Red! Yep, Red Ken has finally given the finger to Blair. That's Tony, not Cherie, in case you were wondering. He's been kicked out of the party. Thing is, I know what it feels like to be kicked out of a party. Happened to me once. I don't know why. All I did was cop a feel of my best mate's mum's knockers. 55 and loving it. But can anyone stop Ken becoming mayor? The Tories, of course, have got love machine Stephen Norris. And after Jeffrey Archer, they're just pleased to have someone who certainly wouldn't have to pay for sex. Ken says he's after Londoners' hearts and minds. Norris, of course, is more of a tit man. Then there's the stupid candidates, of course. You've got Malcolm McLaren, Chaz and Dave, Susan Kramer. She's for the Lib Dems. Satire's not dead, but it's got its last breath in it. And, of course, last but not least, spare a thought for poor old Frank Dobson. If he doesn't get the job of mayor, the only seat he's got left is at the captain's table. Big fat twat, beard. You work it out. But with Ken back in the race, Londoners are being given the chance to get what they really want. Half-price tube fares, a free spin on the London Eye, and tops off Lesbo Wrestling Festival every Sunday at Hyde Park Corner. Brilliant! But enough of this ballot-rigging baloney. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Miss Daisy Donovan! At last we meet. Ian, please meet you. Oh, I hope this goes well. Hello.
I'm delighted that Salman Rushdie has got a sexy new girlfriend. Gives him another excuse to stay in more. Apparently, when they met, she asked, "Is that a gun in your pocket, or are you just pleased to see me?" And he said, "Yes, it is a gun in my pocket. My life is under threat from crazed religious maniacs."
Daisy, I think you ought to tell us what's coming up on tonight's show, if you don't mind.
You know what I will do? On tonight's show, Hollywood superstar Jason Priestley.
I'll be finding out if the people of London give a shit about Super Tuesday.
Soccer AM star Helen Chamberlain gives us the score on this week's football headlines, and Ian investigates the North-South divide.
What does the North have to offer the rest of Britain, apart from rain, cold and misery? A lot, really, doesn't it?
But now it's time for the headlines. Tonight's top stories.
The plane carrying the Manchester United team to France plunged dramatically in mid-flight yesterday. The trouble was tracked down to David Beckham, who'd misunderstood his instruction to play out more on the wing.
Beckham later admitted that he was so scared he thought he saw his life flashing before him, but it was only the in-flight movie Toy Story 2.
On the day that free internet access is unveiled, Gordon Brown gets talked through that internet clip where a woman does an astonishing trick with a Coke can.
DJ James Whale has had a tumour the size of a pizza removed from his kidney. A spokesman for Bupa said he wouldn't be charged as the operation was an hour late.
Sophie Wessex was left on crutches after a skiing holiday with Prince Edward. It's the first time that he's taken a girl away with him, and she's come back unable to walk.
A Catholic cardinal has warned the world that Satan is among us, posing as a famous celebrity. He went on to say that he's not alone and has brought his assistant, the lovely Debbie McGee.
And those were tonight's headlines.
As we speak, America is in the grip of Super Tuesday, the day potential presidents discover whether they'll become the most powerful man in America or just the answer to an obscure Trivial Pursuit question.
It's big fat news in Kentucky, but what do the people of Britain think? We sent heavyweight political commentator Jason Priestley to find out.
It's Super Tuesday. At one time it was called Fucking Boring Tuesday, but Ronald Reagan decided that was bringing everyone down and had it renamed. By the end of the day, we'll be left with two men who, come November, will battle it out for the most powerful job in the world. But do the people of London know who's up for it? Or do they even care? I've been sent back to the Elephant and Castle to find out. What would be more important to you, Super Tuesday or Shrove Tuesday?
Shrove Tuesday. I don't know what Super Tuesday is.
You don't know what Super Tuesday is?
No.
Have you ever heard of Manic Monday?
No.
Are you going to keep track of what happens today on Super Tuesday?
Vaguely, yes.
Yeah.
I read about it in the papers. I'm not an expert, but I try and keep in touch.
So you know who the candidates are?
Yes, I think so, yes.
Right. Did you have a Manic Monday yesterday?
I heard of it, yes.
Yes?
But I'm not sure what the results were because I've not read the paper yet, so I'll do that
Very cool. So you don't care about Super Tuesday? You care about Superman?
Yeah, of course I do, man. I care about, him being all crippled and shit. I think that's terrible.
Right. Do you guys know who the candidates are for Super Tuesday today in America? No?
Oh, one of them must be George Bush.
That's very good. That's 1 point.
The other bloke, but I can't remember what his name is.
John McCain?
Yeah.
He also makes French fries and stuff that you put in the oven. McCain, you've heard of those, right?
He related to them.
No, I don't think so, but it was funny, wasn't it? I'll show you photographs, and you tell me if one of these guys would make a good president of America, okay?
Okay.
I don't know who that is.
You don't know who that is?
No.
He's from Milwaukee.
Right.
Yeah, he loves, he loves to eat people. More than anything.
He's one of the mass murderers, is
Yes,
he?
indeed. Yes,
Oh, right,
ladies and gentlemen, that's Jeffrey Dahmer right there.
Oh, yes.
You think he'd make a good president?
No, I don't think so.
You see this guy here would make a good president? No, do you know who that is? That's Roy Orbison on acid. What do you think of him?
Yeah, he looks alright.
He looks all right. So there you have it. It would appear that the people of Elephant and Castle know as much, if not more, about American politics than the American public. This has been Jason Priestley for the 11 o'clock show, London.
Any good looking? Any handsome? He's good looking. Handsome. The price of loneliness is set to plummet with cable company NTL's offer of completely free internet access. Loners will now have more money to spend on microwave curries, serial killer books and binoculars.
But with free web access expected to lure more people than ever into the Matrix, how can we be sure we're using it correctly? Here's our guide to Know-How. It's our World Wide Web do's and don'ts.
Do.
Use a computer camera to beam images of yourself to faraway family and friends. Don't.
Forget to switch it off. Your Australian uncle won't be so happy to see you masturbating over fake news of Cat Dealey.
Do.
Put up a homepage with snaps from your family photo album and descriptions of your lovely pets. Don't.
Expect anyone to give a flying toss.
Do.
Keep your computer clean with a non-static wipe. Don't.
Let the congealed bodily fluids build up till it's like typing on a keyboard made of wax and lemon curd. Do.
Use the web to find out more about your hobbies and interests. Don't.
Use it to discover the very best way to enter a dog.
Do.
Use the internet for finding out more about your favourite celebrity. Don't.
Use the internet for finding out their phone number, address, the best place to hide in their garden and a nearby shop that sells hammers.
Do.
Teach your kids about the net by letting them take part in online chats with pop stars like this. Don't.
Teach your kids about the net by letting them take part in online chats with pop stars like this.
And those are our do's and don'ts on the weird and wunderbar World Wide Web. We're a divided nation. People in the south tend to stereotype northerners as beer-supping, flat-cap-wearing, coal-mining divvies, whereas people up north are too stupid to know what a stereotype is.
But is that offensive cliché true? I went to Manchester to find out.
Despite the best efforts of the government and David Beckham to bring the North and South together, they still remain worlds apart. But how can we bridge this divide? I've come here to Manchester, the home of scag and petty thieving, to find out.
What does the North have to offer the rest of Britain, apart from rain, coal and misery?
Not a lot, really, does it?
How much is a pint of milk in Manchester?
Pint of milk is about 31p.
Have a guess how much it is in London, in the south.
I've no idea. I would say about £1.
£5. £5 for a pint of milk. Would you say there's more crime in the north than in the south?
No.
What have you got in your bag?
Well, just two hair clippers which I just bought.
Have you got the receipt for those?
No, I haven't, no.
Did you just steal those 2 hair clippers?
No.
Would you say as a northerner you're more friendly than the southerner?
Yeah, I'm alright.
Could you lend us 10 pence, mate, to get a bus?
Yeah, that's swear.
Oh, nice one. You couldn't tell me where I had to get to the Arndale Centre, could you?
Yeah, there.
Listen, I need to go to the toilet, but I've got sore hands. Would you hold me cock for me? No. Would it help if they built a university up north? Would that be good?
Hold that up. No, not really.
That wouldn't help. They actually, because in the south there's loads of universities. What if they built one up here?
No one would go.
No one would go.
No.
Supposing they built a road linking the north and the south, would that make things better up here?
Well, there isn't one.
No.
You're joking.
There's not a road linking the north and the south.
Well, they've got railways.
No. Not directly linking you. There's a bit you can go up to a certain point, then you have to get off and walk a bit, and then you can get another train. There's no direct links.
No.
They shouldn't build a road linking the north and the south?
No.
Have you ever copped off with a southern bird or bloke?
Yeah.
Which was it, bird or bloke?
Bird.
What was it like?
It was all right. It was great.
Was it as good as a northern bird or better?
Better.
Yeah. Why is that? Is it 'cause they're more classy or because they're dirty?
Dirty.
Yeah.
Dirty. Yeah.
Did you say got the arse?
Yeah.
On your first date?
Yeah.
That is very dirty. Fair play to that. So there we have it. Maybe we aren't so different after all. In fact, I'm thinking of buying a house here. This should get us a couple. This is me and Lee, the 11 o'clock show, Manchester.
Still to come on tonight's show, Helen Chamberlain pulls no punches with her verdict on Stan Collymore.
But first, we take a moment to look at some classic news stories which have tickled us in the past. Tonight, devil dogs.
1989, and the government calls for a crackdown on dangerous dogs. Grrr! But is it any wonder the mutts go mad when men do this? Leave his balls alone, my friend, or finish the job. But not here. This is a family show.
Hello, welcome back to the 11 o'clock show.
Coming up, Paul Garner reports on Ken Livingstone. But first, it's time for another look at tonight.
Slides down pole, fire engine crushed.
Simply Red drummer quits to become a baker. Hucknall left with a roll on the drums.
Terror on Man United plane, Beckham wets Posh's knickers. Now, the BBC is in its worst crisis since Richard Branson blew off in the hot seat on Live and Kicking.
Their ratings have dropped so much that this week they recorded a viewing figure of 0 for a Welsh political show. Dennis Kinnock was going to watch it, but Neil insisted they watched Short Circuit on video.
So, how can Greg Dyke get people back with the BBC? Well, Greg, if you're watching, just follow our simple guide to pulling in the punters.
Vets in practice.
Relies on the fact that people like to see sick pets nursed back to health. We suggest...
Vets out of practice. Who could resist watching a struck-off vet bungle a Stoats heart transplant?
EastEnders.
Is currently trying to get sexy by having Sonia screw Martin Fowler. We suggest...
Robbie gets caught tickling Wellard's little Winky in the calf.
Tomorrow's World.
Is seen as an old-fashioned look at a future that never really happens. We suggest...
Today's World. Philippa Forrester asks us to imagine a life with chocolate hobnobs, swatches and Jenga.
Points of View.
Is an outdated show which fails to make the most of viewers' letters. We suggest...
Dyslexic Points of View. Dear BCB, I would like to plumb Kane about Barteat. It was absolute lobbox.
And there are our top tips for the BBC. Now, time to tell you about tonight's guest. She's got years of experience as a Pontins Bluecoat, a DJ and a Sea Lion handler, none of which are any use at all in her current role as the acceptable face of TV football. Please welcome Torquay United's biggest and only fan. It's football expert Helen Chamberlain.
How are you doing? Have a seat, lovely. Thanks very much for joining us. Now, you claim to be an expert on football. I would believe you, but apparently it says here you're a girl. So,
Gave it away.
Oh, you've got knockers, brilliant. Glad you brought them. Now, we want to see if you really know your onions about football like I do.
Right.
How many goals did Stan the Man Collymore score this weekend?
3, a hat-trick.
Fantastic. I don't watch football. I believe you, probably.
Yeah, no, believe
Brilliant.
her. She looks like she knows her stuff.
Now, is he a reformed character, do you think?
I'm not sure. Time will tell, I think. I mean, scoring a hat-trick on his home debut for Leicester is pretty good. He got an awful lot of stick from the papers. He went on loan to Fulham and didn't do so well there. Apparently got on with everybody all right. The thing that got me on Stan's side was when all the newspapers started saying he's depressed. He earns 25 grand a week, he's got a big fat house and a big fat car. How can he be depressed? But depression is a state of mind and not bank balance. So in that case, I got behind Stan and went, yes, get in there, son, and he's got a hat-trick now, so I'm very pleased for him.
Now, you're blonde, you're female, tell me if I'm stating the obvious, and you work on the telly, would you ever consider going out with Stan?
I've never met him. I've never met him, so no.
How does he pull women, though, when he's a fucking nutter?
OK.
I'm going to regret saying that, I think, one day.
He's a fucking nutter with pots of cow.
David Beckham threw a £12,000 party for baby Brooklyn at the weekend.
Yeah.
Do you think footballers get paid too much?
I think they do get paid a little bit too much. I know they've not got that amount of time to make their money, but for God's sake, you'd only have to work for 10 weeks and you could retire, couldn't you? And all the spin-offs, the boot deals and everything else. It really is a bit too much. And for God's sake, the kid was 1!
I know.
Never remember it.
That's my worry. He's 21. But should we really care this much about the Beckhams?
Not really. I don't really care what he wears on his head or his arse, you know. But it's every day, isn't it? You've got Jamie and Louise, you see, haven't you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Louise the singer, I forgot about her,
That's right.
I forgot all about her. I thought she disappeared off the face of the earth. Never mind.
You see, so they're a pop star and husband, but they kind of go down a different, quieter road. So you can say...
There's an obvious joke that I won't do, but we're saying that Louise doesn't take it up the arse. OK, brilliant. Brilliant.
Okay.
Now, you've proved you're a real female football expert, but can you tell us if the following geezer birds are genuine fans or not? Are they onside or offside, OK? Original ladette, Zoe Ball.
It's a shame she's a Man United fan. I know Zoe a little bit, and she's very nice, but I think she'd probably get a bit more respect if she was a Barnet fan. Do you know what I'm saying?
Not really, no.
What about Boddington's Dave Millsike?
Now, the snogging of 3 Sunderland players and then grassing them up was great. That was very, very funny. I like that. She's in.
Hats off
She's
to that.
Cool.
Yeah.
And, of course, a girl who loves a good kick around, Ulrika Johnson.
Can she or can she not neck a pint in about 4 seconds flat?
A pint of what?
Supposed to.
Beer.
She can do the what's that? No.
It's getting
What's
better.
that thing with the thing on the end?
That's
the 9 yard. Yeah, the yard. She can do the yard of ale in some ludicrous seconds. So also she's in.
Now, should you ever decide to leave Soccer AM, we think we've got the perfect replacement. Like you, she's a bit of a looker. She's loved by young and old and has a tattoo of her favourite organisation in a concealed place.
Right.
Have a look at this. It's the Queen, Mum. Ladies and gentlemen, Helen Chamberlain.
As the last century becomes an ever more distant memory, here's Ricky Gervais with his continuing insight into some of the major historical landmarks of the 20th century.
Tonight, the atom bomb.
In 1905, Albert Einstein published a paper in which he stated that light could be imagined to consist of discrete bundles of radiation and described a photoelectric effect by which certain metals will emit electrons when illuminated by light of a given frequency. What sort of a person thinks like that? I mean, he should have it out more. Same as that Stephen Hawking. That's what turned him mental. Too much thinking. The universe is expanding. Yeah, of course it is, Stephen. Watch a bit of telly or something. Robot Wars is on. You like that, don't you? Anyway, using all this theory, to be fair, they did actually build a bomb and they dropped it on Japan and won the war. Well done. Then you get all these bleeding arts. Oh, the effects are still being felt today. It was excessive. No, sorry. They came hard first and America gave them the thrashing of their lives. They should have picked on Switzerland if they didn't want a proper fight. The lesson is simple. Don't pick on America. It's the hardest country.
Scientists are close to developing a new drug which reverses the ageing process. They said the recent work on a guinea pig had been hugely successful, but unfortunately had to return to Chile. Experts agree that Pinochet has finally proved that he is senile. They pointed to the fact that on his arrival home, he completely forgot to look frail.
A man who flew to America to marry a woman he met on the internet discovered she was, in fact, a 20-stone, 65-year-old with a dead body in the freezer. His suspicions were first aroused when she told him to lie back and think of Iceland.
The NHS has been criticised for starting a project to supply free condoms to gay men by hiding them in countryside bird boxes. Campaigners argue that the last place gay men will be looking is inside a bird's box.
Following the incident where Brandon Block pushed Ronnie Wood at the Brit Awards, music experts have said that it was a rare example of a fan hitting the shit.
At a lavish party to celebrate Brooklyn Beckham's first year, 150 friends and family all sang happy birthday to you, apart from Posh, who was obviously miming.
And that was the news just in. Ken Livingstone dominates today's headlines with his decision to stand as an independent candidate for the Mayor of London.
For the reaction to that decision, here's Paul Garner with his report.
Tony Blair was today counting the cost of one of his most challenging periods in government, as his week went from one possible nightmare to one probable shite-mare. Fears of a return of the GLC, or gobshite lying commies, became a real possibility when Ken Livingstone announced his decision to defy the party and challenge Frank Nobson in the race for London Mayor. With Livingstone drawing grassroots Labour support and with the backing of a host of celebrities, Red Ken now finds himself sitting on one side of a massive fat crack that's appeared in the Labour Party. But what do the ordinary people of London think about the latest twists and turns in the race for mayor?
Do you have children yourself? No. What if you did? They went to school and somebody was teaching them to be a lesbian.
Well, no one's teaching them to be a lesbian. They're just making aware of other alternatives to heterosexuality. There's nothing wrong with that.
There isn't?
No.
Stephen Norris would be my choice.
Yeah. Because he's polled 65% of London's population?
What? Stephen Norris is polled 65%.
At least that, from what I've heard.
I'm very happy to hear it. I mean, I haven't heard anything about Stephen Norris so far. All I've heard is Livingstone and Blair and Dobson. And if Norris has had a big poll, good for him.
Yeah, and good for everyone else involved.
Certainly.
Although this rift is a disaster for Labour, Conservative candidate Stephen Norris was delighted with the infighting, claiming, "This is proof there is a God, and he must be a Tory." If that's the case, then God must be watching over the race for mayor with a big smile on his face, a whore's bra wrapped round his neck, and a satsuma shoved up his arse. This is Paul Garner, the 11 o'clock show at Millbank.
And for more on that story, we go over live to Paul Garner in Millbank. Paul, what's happening at Labour Party HQ?
Well, Ian, Labour's PR machine is preparing a damage limitation programme as it faces one of the most alarming splits Downing Street has seen since Tony Blair polled his missus with a Trumpy condom. They're also considering just how much money to spend on Frank Dobson's campaign, if, as opinion polls say, he seems unlikely to win. One Labour insider told me it could be the biggest waste of party money since Brooklyn Beckham's birthday.
Thanks very much, Paul.
Thanks, Ian.
That's all from tonight's show.
But finally, there was evidence that Tony Blair is making the most of free internet access to send important messages.
One last thing before you go to bed. What would you do if a complete stranger stopped you in the street?
Ooh,
good night.
Would you ever have the piss taken out of you on the street?
People do it all the time. I don't mind.
What do they do?
Oh, they call me everything, you know. They call me Mad Jacko.
Mad Jacko? Are you mad?
Not really.
Are you called Jacko?
No, I'm just open-minded.
Do you think that taking the mickey out of people on the street is good fun entertainment, or is it a bit cheap and lazy?
It's great, mate. I love it.
Yeah.
Sit back and laugh at them, you know what I mean? So.
Would you ever consider having the piss taken out of you on the telly?
Well...
Or are you a bit too clever for that?
I'm a bit too clever for that, I think.
You realise what happened?
That's taking a piss, not.
Exactly. Can you to call back later? You're on the telly.
Hello, Dee. I'm just been told, can I call back
could
later?
You call back later? He's on the telly. could you call back? It's quite important we finish this, Dee. Cheers, mate.
Dear, oh dear.
Lovely. OK, brilliant. That's it. I think we finished. Thanks a lot for your time.